What's up, y'all? Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk, episode number 20. We are a North Carolina wrestling podcast that is brought to you by Carolina's Mat News. Mr. Frank Smithwick doing huge things for our North Carolina wrestling community. So check him out. And make sure to check out Combat for Connection on all their social media platforms. Great cause, raising awareness for mental health issues. Check them out.
If you guys are interested in sponsoring an episode, shoot us an email at carolinatakedowntalk@gmail.com or shoot us a DM on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. We're excited to pair up with new people and pair up with some opportunities. Awesome opportunities. Dude, we're back.
We're back, guys. We're back. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for being off so long, pretty much since the state tournament. Rhett did a couple interviews and coverages since then, but we had some big summer plans, Rhett. Didn't go in our favor.
Yeah, some big summer plans. A little bit of COVID worked on that. And then a little bit of a job change for me, starting into the school year this year. And then, of course, you're a teacher. Yeah. So, those first few weeks of school for you are incredibly insane. So we are going to try and get we're still going to try and do some of the plans that we had for over the summer. I'm going to try and make a few of those happen before, the season really kicks in. But we're pretty close to Super 32.
Yeah, we're getting ready. It's coming close. Super 32 North Carolina early entry tournament coming up. We're going to talk about that.
Yep.
But Rhett, let's talk about something that happened over the summer that we haven't got a chance to talk about. I think our audience knows by now. Big freestyle guys. Yeah. We like our international styles. Fargo went down. Rhett and I were glued. We were texting about it. We were texting Frank about it. We had two AAs. Jax Forrest.
Yep.
He AA'd in freestyle and Greco.
Yep.
Great showing for the young man. We're going to talk about him in a second.
A little bit later, yep.
But great showing for him. I think it was only like his first or second Greco tournament ever. So to go out in AA. Really liked the way he looked in freestyle too. And then on the women's side, Haley Misplay.
Yeah, big shout out to you, Haley.
Got 8th place. She's not someone who I would have picked as the top girl to AA. I would have went with Hutto or Riddick, probably above her as far as percentage-wise. But a really impressive performance.
She showed up to wrestle and wrestled like a monster.
She
killed it.
She looked great.
Awesome.
And then just a couple other guys with deep runs in this Fargo bracket. Yep. I think we talk about Carson Floyd a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why.
Deserving. Yeah.
He looked great. Savoy New from Cardinal Gibbons went on a huge run through the bracket.
I'm really excited
Very
for him
impressive in freestyle.
Yeah,
me too. I think he's
really
making
excited
some jumps. Tyler Tracy, also of Cardinal Gibbons, looked great. Man, he's been short at the podium at the state tournament twice, second. Maybe this is his year. He's putting in the work at Fargo.
And the girl from your hometown, from your high school, Reagan
Outer Banks'
Riddick,
own,
man.
First Flight's own, Reagan Riddick. Man, she was razor thin close to AAing. And I think if she was more in tune freestyle-wise, she would have AA'd. The way the last exchange went, she played it like a folk-style exchange. Yeah. And her opponent knew that and kind of played it as a freestyle exchange. It cost
she had said, though, that she hadn't got that a lot of work in freestyle because there weren't really many clubs around her, I guess, that are really working freestyle stuff.
Yeah, and that's something that you and I talk about a lot off air. We've mentioned a couple times on air. Man, clubs, high schools.
You're cheating your kids if you're not.
Wrestle freestyle and Greco.
You are cheating your kids if you're not coaching freestyle and you're not coaching Greco. Seriously.
We got to get better as a state. And I think a lot of people talk about that, right? They're like, hey, let's get better as a state in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And one of the ways we can do that, guys, is improving our first folk style game via freestyle and Greco. Yeah. Freestyle and Greco help folk style so much.
So much.
And
it's insane.
The big major tournaments, Super 32, which is coming up.
Yep.
That's folk style, right? But the other three, with cadet nationals, right? Cadet Fargo, junior Fargo, right? And then cadet trials, world team trials. Those three are all freestyle and Greco.
Yeah.
So if we want to get kind of more of a national prominence, we need to kind of move in that direction. And our clubs are going to be really the place where it takes place. And high school coaches continue to push your guys into the clubs that are going to teach that freestyle and Greco. Right. There's clubs everywhere that are either teaching it or into it, or there's just going to be some that are starting to go into it. I know, like Jonathan Sutton, he said something a while back that he's committed to teaching freestyle and Greco going forward.
Yeah.
Willie Hilton as he was the one who kind of sparked this conversation. Like, hey,
Shout
we got to get
Coach.
better as a state at freestyle and Greco. We got to have more than 2 AAs. Dark Horse is really big. Freestyle Greco, Strong and Courageous was.
Strong and Courageous was really big
in our area. Right,
Combat I think is pretty big.
Combat's got some guys like Carson Floyd was here, right? So, Raw Wrestling's been doing a great job freestyle Greco. So just continue to let's raise the bar and get on those like junior national teams, cadet national teams, and wrestle freestyle Greco. I'm a little biased because I like freestyle the best. That's my favorite.
You've always been biased to freestyle.
I like freestyle a lot. I think it's the best style via like action. Like you get the most action out of it. It also can be a little bit more controversial as far as like understanding the scoring sequences.
Yeah, I mean it can.
But I think it's fun, and if you're looking to get into national prominence as a state and as an individual, you gotta show up to those.
Yeah. No doubt. Especially if you want to get recruited. I mean, I know we've had a lot of kids that, big shout out to Coach Sewell, with the recruiting Accelerator. Guys, like freestyle and Greco and girls, like freestyle and Greco is where you're going to get recruited for most of the time. I mean, unless you're going to Virginia Beach and you're going up there and you're all-Americaning. Like Fargo, every single Division I, Division II, Division, like every coach is there just about, or if they're not there, they have someone from their coaching staff there, or they're watching every single match. I mean, that's just how it is, especially, and then, especially with like the trials and stuff like that, like they're watching that so close. But like then you're even like your Southeast regionals, your Northeast regionals, like that's where you can really go and get some attention that you may not get just in North Carolina. Yeah, like a lot of coaches. Big shout out to App State. This year with regionals, we saw Coach Ian Miller was there, and then at the state tournament for 3A, Coach Diabe was there, Randall Diabe.
And we had at 2A, Ian Miller was back there. Coach Sewell was there.
Yeah, Coach Sewell. Big shout out to UMO, Coach Sewell.
Coach Bradley from Queens was there as well. There's someone else there. I can't remember. It's off the top of my head.
So what I'm getting at is these coaches are coming. Shout out to the North Carolina coaches that are coming and watching these North Carolina events. But if you want to be recruited, there's only a handful. There's only a certain amount of North Carolina colleges that have wrestling. And I mean, I think it's awesome that we have as many as we do. We have a lot of awesome opportunities, but there's so much more past that you go to these national tournaments, you can go to these regional tournaments. Whenever I say regionals, I mean like Southeast regionals, Northeast regionals, stuff like that, not just like our actual conference regionals in the state. You go to these regional or national regional tournaments, I guess the best way to put it, and you're going to have a chance to be in front of coaches from Georgia, from a NAIA school in Virginia. You just open up your horizons more. You kind of broaden it a little bit.
Yeah, it's
going to these tournaments.
It's more of a spotlight, right? Yeah. You got more eyeballs on you, and it kind of gives you a chance. If you're a top North Carolina kid or you're an elite North Carolina kid, you're only going to hit so many other elite North Carolina kids in a year. You go to a Southeast Regionals, Northeast Regionals, Super 32, Fargo, Cadet Trials, you're going to hit some of these top national kids. I'll never forget, I was at Super 32 and Michael Waters, he was a Davie County kid, two-time state champ, I think. He won like sophomore and senior, I think
so.
But he didn't win the match. He gave a kid, I can't remember the kid he gave a hard match to, but it was a kid from California that was ranked high in the nation, and he just gave the kid fits and took him to overtime. Yeah. And I watched Cody Sanderson from Penn State come over and talk to Michael's dad and talk to Michael, and Michael ended up at Penn State. Now, did he crack the starting lineup? No, right? But they were impressed enough by just that match that he didn't win to come recruit him like that.
Guys, like off-season wrestling is about getting better. It's about finding the best competition you can, getting out there and getting better. And that's just kind of, I guess that's kind of our soapbox on that is, y'all, like, we're not saying you have to go to Fargo. No, okay? Like, I would love personally to see every kid that wrestles in North Carolina try and go to Fargo, right? Is that realistic? No, because not every kid should go to Fargo, okay? I mean, I know that's kind of a tough pill to swallow for some people, but I'm sorry if if you're a second-year wrestler
don't go.
that has barely even cracked a JV lineup or anything like that, you probably shouldn't spend the money to go to Fargo and
No,
go
you should
0-2
go to something
against
else,
it.
like
Yeah.
Southeast Regional.
And there's other tournaments during that same time that you can go to. You know, there's also camps and clinics and things like that. Like in the summertime, like, you know, we had Mike Mock here in town.
Yep, we did. That was awesome, man.
And awesome camp. Like, shout out to you, Mike Mock and Gant, man. Like, y'all are awesome. And what an awesome opportunity for Western North Carolina to come in here and learn from a guy that's, like, right on the cusp of being the guy. You know?
He's right there.
Like,
I mean, fourth at Olympic trials.
I would say the face of North Carolina wrestling right now.
I would agree with that 100%.
Division I national champ, going to NC State. Like, you know, awesome. But kids didn't really need to go to Fargo, and so they chose to come to that camp. And I think that's a great decision.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right? Like, if you're not going to go compete, find something to make yourself better. Okay, go to a camp over the summer. Go to a clinic, anything like that. I think next summer we might try and do some stuff. Maybe try and do a clinic up here again. You know, I've been talking to a few people and trying to
get something together
to figure that out. But y'all, like, if you're a state placer, go to Fargo.
Yeah,
if you're a state champ, go to Fargo. And I get that some kids play football because, like, I had that issue in high school. I was a two-sport, I was a two-sport athlete, and it was always tough to kind of talk to my coach and say, like, hey, I need to miss a week of football right whenever mandatory practices start, so I can go to Fargo, North Dakota, and wrestle in nationals.
Yeah,
right.
It's a tough sell sometimes with that.
It is, but it's one of those things that it's worth it. Okay, it's worth it to go get your name out there. Face that competition, you know, like, face that grind, embrace it, and get better. You know, it's going to come back. And, like, the biggest thing that we talked about before Fargo a little bit, I might have talked about it on, like, Instagram Live or something. I don't really remember. It's been a while. But just the atmosphere of Fargo. To wrestle at Fargo and then to come back and wrestle in our state tournament, you know, the normal one, the one at the Greensboro Coliseum. Like, the Coliseum doesn't feel that big because you wrestle at the Fargo Dome. Right? Like, you've wrestled in front of the biggest names, you know, especially if you get to wrestle on that one up on the stage, man. Like, that's insane. You know, I think that's awesome that they give kids opportunities to wrestle up there, even if you're not in the finals. But going up there, getting that experience, just getting that mat time against elite kids that most kids don't have that opportunity to in the state.
Yes, and I think for me, too, like, the most important thing we can do as a state is kind of flip our mentality a little bit. And I'm not saying, like, as a state we have this mentality, but I'm saying, like, individually we can flip our mentality from, all right, folk style season's over. I'm going to go to Virginia Beach. I'm going to take a couple weeks off. And then after that, I'm going to start training folk style for Super 32. Right? We need to kind of flip that. And after Virginia Beach is over, start training freestyle. And honestly, part of me is kind of like, Virginia Beach is great, and we've spent a good contingent there. But I'm okay with, even after, like, state tournament, hey, let's flip off the folk style brain, train the freestyle brain up until Fargo, and then when Fargo's over, then let's flip back to folk style and train for Super 32. So, and speaking of, like, elite guys in North Carolina, it came out a couple months ago now, right? Like a month and a half.
It's kind of been rumored for a really long time.
Jack's,
it's kind of been one of those things that we heard about, but it was one of those things that we didn't want to announce it or anything or say anything about it until it was official. I mean, I feel like it was his news to break and everything else.
For sure.
But,
Jack's Forest to PA. He's going to Bishop McCourt, which, if you guys don't know where Bishop McCourt is or what they're about, it's the Bassett's Bo Bassett Cadet World Champ. He's there. His brother will be there. The Gibsons, Eric Gibson, who's committed to Cornell, Mason Gibson, who was a state runner-up as a freshman in PA. The Herrings, Sam Herrings there, who was a Fargo runner-up, runs the home Matt Advantage podcast. So really tough kids. He's going up there. I think he's been up there a couple times to the M2 training center with David Taylor, and that's where kind of a lot of those kids go. So he's transferring up there. Jax, we wish you the best of luck, man. I know you trained out of the Raw Wrestling. You did travel to a couple different clubs, but I know you were at the Raw Wrestling Club for a while. Best of luck to you. Still going to be rooting for you, even though you're going to be repping the PA guys. You're a North Carolina kid at heart. So we'll still be rooting for you, man, and good luck going forward.
It wasn't just Jax.
No, we have another.
Also,
followed pretty fast.
Man, followed really fast, and we kind of thought that's how it would go down.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of it was.
We knew these
for
big
us. It was
schools were
really
after him.
Yeah, for us it was really which one's gonna make the jump first.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of behind the scenes knowledge of it, but more of just the rumor mill that kind of everyone heard of. Hey, this school's kind of looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
This school's kind of just kind of tracking him, and one of the most dominant freshmen to ever come to North Carolina.
His state tournament performance. There hasn't been many more individual state tournament performances.
I think
that
wasn't he scored the most?
Dominant. Yeah,
scored the most points in a state tournament ever.
So Joe Seeley to Wyoming Seminary. We're going to be up there with Gabe Arnold, who's a Georgia kid, and a bunch of other hammers. Yeah. So, and they just got a new coach. Cornell Robinson, Missouri guy. He was coaching in Missouri. I don't know where he's originally from, to be honest.
Right.
But that's awesome for him as well. Going to be training with those elite partners up there. I remember Cole Falk did that back in 28, maybe 2008.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. 2009, something like that, maybe a little earlier. Went up there. He was a West Stokes kid. Went up there to Wyoming Seminary, returned and went to NC State. I think injuries derailed his career at NC State. But Joe Seeley, man, we said this last.
Forrest and Seeley, come back to college, North Carolina.
Yeah, come back to North Carolina.